Hey everyone, welcome back to the program. I am excited to be here connected today with Abigail, also known as Abby Morales. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. For those who are not familiar with the work you're doing, let them know about yourself.
So my name is Abby, and I'm 32 years old, and I'm basically a business owner. Been in business for 12 years now, and I started when I was single and young, and now I have two little girls and a wonderful husband, and yeah, life has been great.
I'm so happy that you have a wonderful husband.
Yes, I
do. Of course, I know Chris and we've hung out,
Yes.
an awesome guy, so I can attest to that.
Amazing.
You're not being biased.
Nope.
But talk a little bit about, you mentioned about the journey, right? About doing that transition from being a business owner, single, to now being a business owner, but a wife and a business owner that is a mother as well.
Yes.
So can you hit a little bit about that transition?
Yeah, 100%. So basically, after I had my daughter Jasenia, she was born in January 2019. The Lord just kind of put it in my heart. I wanted it to be home with my baby. So at that time, I had a storefront. But once I had her, I'm like, I definitely want to bring this back home. And I did that, which was perfect timing. And I know that was God's will, because following year, COVID happens, right? So it's like one of those full circles. And it's like, God deposits it in your heart, and then you understand why later. So definitely been a juggle. 2020 during COVID, we expanded a lot. There was a lot of growth. A lot of people were doing online shopping. So I hired some people to help me here at home. And then I had another little one and hired a little bit more help. And it's just been amazing. Definitely a juggle, especially now when you're home, you're trying to separate and trying to kind of turn off sometimes that entrepreneurial spirit, and had to get the house things done and, being a wife, being a mom and stuff. But it's definitely been a blessing. So I cannot complain. I love it.
Now you use the term juggling.
Yes.
Most individuals talk about either creating harmony or creating balance. Do you just describe it as that, just juggling what's in front of you?
It's definitely, I've learned this year a lot about it's about prioritizing, about being where your feet are. So like whatever I have going on in front of me, I need to focus on that and give it 100%. Because if I'm doing everything 50-50, that's when I get overwhelmed. So I've time blocked, even with my employees. When I hired them, I'm like, hey, I need help with my business and I need help with my girls. They knew that was part of the job description, to also help me with my girls. And they've been an amazing help. So sometimes I'll have them watching them, so I can get some work done, uninterrupted work. And then other times I'll have them working on the business so I can watch the girls. Sometimes I try to do both at the same time. And I notice when I do that, it doesn't always come out that great. So it's definitely a discipline that I had to keep working on. But I will definitely say, and I think Chris can attest to that I've gotten better.
So, you talk about balancing marriage, motherhood, that entrepreneur spirit, knowing how to say, okay, this is the moment that I'm mom, or I'm wife, or I'm doing all these things. Initially, you and I met many moons ago,
Yes.
and we met in the confines, in the setting of church. Yes. And I know how big faith is in your life, but talk 100%. A little bit about balancing your faith and your business, right? Balancing that faith and the entrepreneur spirit you have.
Yeah, honestly, it is, I don't even know if there's a separation. It's just the way I serve my customers, the way I do business, everything is founded on God and the word. So just the way I conduct myself, my customers know I'm Christian. I proclaim it, I say it, I preach about it, I teach about everything, So definitely for me, the struggle for me was really being a good entrepreneur, also being a Christian. Because for me, it was very hard. I've always felt like, hey, I want to bless people, and to bless people, you see they walk in, you want to give them discounts, you want to do that. And through my journey, I've learned that I had to get better at dealing with God's business and being a good steward with it appropriately. Because I spent so many years in debt and my business was a blessing to everyone else, but it was a financial burden for myself. So when I realized that, number one, I'm not greedy, it's okay to charge, and I overcame that guilt, what really helped me was understanding that this isn't my business, I'm managing God's business. So when I manage God's business, I have to be a good steward of that. So that has helped me overcome those hurdles a lot. And being a business owner that is Christian, a lot of business owners, they struggle with that. They struggle with charging. And unfortunately, I believe that the Christian community also doesn't always give those type of businesses the same level of respect, or, you know, when it comes to charging and things, it's like when you go to a normal store, do you ask for a discount? You know, no, you just pay, and they have no problem with secular business to do that. But I don't know if it's also the Hispanic culture sometimes with that too, but that's why we're here to talk about it and just kind of educate people. Because when now I have family members and friends that are starting businesses, anytime they want to offer me a discount, I'm like, nope, because I know, like, I want you to be successful. I want you to be profitable, and I want it to be a blessing for your life and for your family.
I've spoken to friends of mine who as well share the faith and have a business. One of my friends, Jesse Cruz, he is a storyteller coach. He is an author, and he's found the same challenge, which is while you're attempting to be an entrepreneur and still be a Christian, there are those who'll be like, well, come on, brother, come here, brotherly, you know.
Yeah. And that honestly, I had a couple coaches, business coaches that were also Christian, and in their coaching, they spoke about God, which helped me because I was able to relate to them. And they were the ones, Christy Wright was one of them she used to work for Dave Ramsey. That helped me overcome that guilt. And it wasn't easy. In the beginning, I had an employee, and she'd go upstairs, and I'll handle the customers because I didn't know how to say no, because I'm a people pleaser. And I just, you know, if someone asks, you know, but then I had a sign at the register, and I was like, hey, no discounts other than when we're throwing a sale. I mean, I have stories, you know, but yeah, it was definitely. And then I ended up realizing when you're saying no to something, why you're saying it, the intention behind it is not that I'm trying to be mean. I need to pay my employees. Now that I have little ones, I have to, you know, I also contribute to the household. And it became easier when I understood why I was saying no. It's because I'm saying yes to something else. And I think when people wrap their heads around that, it becomes a little bit easier to know when to say yes and when to say no. And there's times where the Lord will put in my heart, hey, do something for this person, or, you know, give this person a discount. But I mean, I was doing it every single day to every single customer because I like them. I talked to them for 20 minutes and I was just like, oh, here's a discount, you know, and you can't do that.
So, you know, talking about the success of the business, right? I mean, as you mentioned, right, that saying no is because, well, I need to sustain my family, my household. I want to stay out of debt and hopefully stay a business up, you know, float. So talk a little bit about how do you manage, or how do you determine the level of success? Because it sounded like early on success was how many people can I serve, where now it's like, okay, let me tighten up on this. How do you manage or determine that you're being successful?
So again, it has to do with so much on the spiritual aspect of like, I love my business. I mean, like, I'm consumed in it. I love it, you know. But before that, I'm a daughter of a king, right? So like he's my boss. Even though we think we don't have a boss, I do have a boss, and I have to be sensitive to his voice and his directions, and basically just really what he's asking me to do in my business and in my personal. When I do those things, that's what I define success as. And then when I kind of see it come full circle, where it's like I took that leap of faith, he put it in my heart, I know it's him, you know, and then but then when you see it come full circle and you're like, I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew this was God, because when you have a relationship with him, you understand, you know, his tug, his pull, things like that. But to me, when I had those God moments where I'm like, I knew that was a God idea, that wasn't my idea, you know. And throughout my business, I've had many of those, from when I opened the store to when I closed it, and the timings with that, and even my employees and things like that, where I'm like, you know, it's a testimony. I'm like, here's another testimony. So that's when those are my indicators to me, where I'm like, yes, I did God's will. And to me, that is success, and that's what fulfills me.
Obviously, coming from a Christian background, we're talking a little bit about the fact that some Christians may feel that it's kind of a taboo to be someone who believes in God, but also has a business. While that may be the challenge of the Christian, there may be those who are trying to start a business and are facing the challenge of naysayers in their family or friends who doubt or people who are whatever the case may be. Provide some type of strategy, if you can, for the listener that's saying, I want to start a business, I just don't know where to start or even how to get started. What kind of strategies can you provide that individual?
So I think that for me, and this is something I learned later on, and I wish I would have learned it early on, was kind of like, first is that mindset, right? Of, if you're a Christian, we believe money is evil. So charging someone, taking someone's money for this, especially when maybe you know how much it costs, but you're not understanding, like, you have to put your time, your employees' time. When people use credit cards, there's a commission fee. You don't get the whole amount. Like, people don't see, they just see like, this item costs this. Whoa, they're making a lot of money, but they don't really know like what that really calculates to, you know? So for me, it was first coming to terms with the fact that, like, number one, money isn't evil. It's the love of money. That's what the word says. It's the love. So but it's a tool, right? And money is the tool that we use to do a lot of things, to send missionaries, to build churches, to tithe. If you can employ people, they're able to tithe at their churches and stuff and be able to build the kingdom. So it is, when we start to understand that, it's like mind blowing, because it's literally just a tool. And in our personal money and in our business money, when we realize at the end of the day, it's God's money, right? And we're not greedy, and we understand, like, when God gives you a tug and he tells you to do this or to do that and stuff, we're not stingy about it. You know what I'm saying? Then I think that that's what people kind of get scared of. Like, hey, if you have too much or if your business is too big, then you must be stingy. You must be greedy. And I personally think that money doesn't change you. It just makes you more of who you are. So like, if you were already greedy and you have money, you're going to be even more greedy. If you were giving, you're going to be more giving. So I would just encourage the person to overcome that first. And then starting wise, I would say, like, be careful who you tell your vision or your dream to, especially if you're seeking God and he gave you that direction, because not everybody's going to understand it. When I closed my store, I first didn't tell a couple people that I knew that would be like, are you crazy and stuff? Because I'm like, I know what God's telling me to do, you know? I know what he's put in my heart. One of my favorite verses is, delight yourself in the Lord and he shall give you the desires of your heart. And what people think is like, hey, if I do what God tells me to do, then he's going to give me everything I want. When in truth, if you delight yourself in the Lord, you start desiring the things that he wants for you, right? So it's not even, and you become in alignment with his plan. So you got to be careful who you share that with, because that can maybe unmotivate you to actually take that leap of faith and discourage you to not, actually, do God's will.
At the beginning of the year, most individuals set a New Year's resolution, right? They set that goal for the entire year. Other individuals have one word, and this one word anchors everything they do for the entire year. So on this conversation, where do you lie? Are you more of the one word person or the New Year's resolution type of person?
So I don't really like New Year's resolution. Like, I don't like the word, I guess, because it's kind of like where we're trying to resolve what like is maybe like broken and stuff. And I know that there's things that you stop being as consistent in, but I sometimes do pick a word. I can't think of one that I picked for this year, but I would say I'm more goal driven, where it's like, what is going on? What do I want to achieve in my business this year? Like right now, we're going to go through a rebranding phase, right? So it's not going to be until next January, but we're taking steps throughout the whole entire year. So to me, I'm like, what's the next step? What's the next step? So we just have a lot of different goals and we don't rush them. We try to, actually do them thoroughly. And we just, hey, God, what do you want me to do this year? And I try to execute that at the best of my ability with time management and all those good things.
So I know you said that you lean more on just setting goals and putting out those steps. But if you were to establish one word that would encompass your life's work, what would that one word be?
You said for my work?
If there was one word that would encompass your life's work, what would that word be?
Oh man, this one's a tough one. I think it would probably be like just like devotion. Like I'm very devoted to whatever God gives me and puts in my way. You know, I'm dedicated. I'm focused on that, and someone can't really deter me if I know that that was something that the Lord, you know, spoke to me or was telling me to do.
For those individuals that are connected and are listening and want to get connected with you, how could they do so?
Yeah, so we have a Facebook page for my business. It's Juke the Abby, and I actually just started kind of like a new GI channel. We're going to be starting the YouTube channel soon, and it's business underscore mama and chaos. So business mama and chaos. You can follow me there and stuff. But I love to get connected with other entrepreneurs if there's any out there, and yeah, just network and get together. So definitely.
Awesome. Abby, thank you so much for being part of the program.
No, thank you for having me. It was great.
Yes, ma'am.